Hey YouTube, this is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and I'm here for another rookie mock draft video for you guys. Now we are talking the first round, 1 through 12 for one quarterback play. Now a lot of people do tend to do Superflex in Dynasty, which is okay. I do it a lot of my leagues. But for those who are playing in water quarterback leagues, I wanted to make sure I had a mock draft video and kind of let you guys know where players should be going in your draft in the first round. That way you could possibly make some trades, make some, maybe you could pull off a steal. Who knows what ends up happening? Obviously, needs will always play a factor in any Dynasty rookie draft. But if we're not talking needs, we're just talking straight talent, where these players are positioned, and of course, where the opportunities are going to be. This should help you guys out. If you guys are in a super flex, make sure you guys check out our other video. We did a nice little 1 through 12 for the first round for super flex. So check that video out as well. We're going to jump right into this. Look, we're going to make it really simple. The 101 is Marvin Harrison Jr. without a doubt. Okay. There's no question. If you're realistically drafting any other player, I'm not sure this is right for you. Marvin Harrison Jr. not only is a very talented wide receiver, right? He also landed in a great position for him. Now, had he gone to New England, maybe we would have talked a little bit different about this. But the fact that he went to Arizona, got Kyler Murray, got Michael Wilson on the outside, Trey McBride, he is going to go into this as the clear-cut wide receiver one with a good, I would say, middle to better average quarterback at this aspect. So, great spot for Marvin Harrison Jr. Don't overcomplicate this. He is the 101. Now, at 102, I could see some arguments going back and forth between a couple different players, but I have Malik Nabers as my 102. Any of my other videos, you guys watch any rookie content that I've talked about, I always have Malik Nabers as the 1B to Marvin Harrison's 1A. Malik Nabers is very talented. He's going into a position that a lot of people don't love, right? New York Giants are not a team that everyone fell in love with. You got Daniel Jones, a lot of uncertainty. Daniel Jones hasn't really had a premier wide receiver like this really ever. So this is a unique situation. Is this going to help elevate Daniel Jones? Maybe this will help allow Malik Nabers to be a premier wide receiver. Or does this offense, unfortunately, kill Nabers and really hurt him in the first year? Even if all of that is true, I will say, even if, again, Malik Nabers doesn't have a great rookie season, I'm not going to really worry about that. He's still going as my 102 because most likely, if that happens, Daniel Jones is gone. They'll go get another quarterback. We'll see how that plays out, and we can start over. But realistically, he should be your 102. Now, at my 103, I may be different than other analysts out there, and that's okay. That's what we're all here for, to give you some different insights. I have Brock Bowers as my 103. I know that's strange. A lot of people have Rome Odunze, maybe even Caleb Williams. But for me, at the one quarterback and kind of the talent that's out there, I'm looking at Brock Bowers as a nice little spot. Now, I don't love his landing spot. Raiders was not where I wanted him to go. Had he gone to the Chargers, the Bengals, Dolphins, practically anywhere else, he would have had a lot more of a, I would say, draft capital and really opportunities. But I still think he's going to get a lot of opportunities in this offense. They do have Devontae Adams. They do have Jacoby Myers. They do have Michael Mayer. Obviously, that changes the aspect for him. But I think Brock Bowers will do some inline work. I think it's going to be more of the slot role. He's going to be somebody who's going to help exploit linebackers and safeties and different things like that. So the opportunities, I think, will be there. Do I think he's going to have an amazing rookie season? I don't think so. Rookie tight ends haven't always been that way. Obviously, last season we had some really odd and I would say not so normal, right? Like you had Laporta, McBride finally showed up, but he wasn't a rookie. Remember that, guys? Like you had a few, Tucker Kraft. Like, there were definitely some tight ends that really showed up, but I wouldn't say a rookie tight end being a premier guy until probably year 2 or 3, maybe 4. I still think 103 for some might be a little high for you guys. I think Brock Bowers is the perfect spot for him, because I do think he's going to have value in the future. And again, tight end is always definitely a harder position to have on your roster than, say, anything else. And of course, this is tight end premium. He could even go into the 102 almost, but we're going to keep him at the 103. Now, my 104 is going to be Rome Odunze for the Bears. I think the position is great. I think he's going to have a great, bright future. Very talented receiver. He already has some, I would say, companionship and partnership, and he's already starting to have a good camaraderie with Caleb Williams, which is great. He's going to have a great mentor in DJ Moore, great mentor in Keenan Allen. This offense obviously is very, very, very powerful, on paper at least. So with that said, you're tying a rookie receiver with obviously a potential rookie quarterback. That's actually a really good thing to do because, again, you're going to get at least 4 years out of these guys. And realistically, with what we're expecting out of Caleb Williams, I think they're going to pass heavy. May not be this year, but I think that's going to be the future of this Bears offense. And Rome Odunze will definitely be a premier wide receiver in the future. Look, 105 is going to be where I think some people might still go wide receiver. I'm going Caleb Williams. I think right after that, I know it's a one quarterback situation, but Caleb Williams absolutely should be picked up pretty early in a one quarterback league just because you got youth, probably 8 to 10 years out of this guy, even more. And realistically, when you start looking at what's out there, I haven't dropped my rankings yet, but in a one quarterback league, he could almost be a top 10 quarterback already in Dynasty. So at the 105, I'm going to go and get Caleb Williams. Again, need may change that, but I think that's a perfect spot for a one quarterback league because of what he's able to do, how great his arm is, how great he's able to make plays in and out of the pocket, read defenses. I like him a lot. I think this is a good spot. Now, 106, I got Brian Thomas Jr. for the Jacksonville Jaguars. A lot of it has to do with draft capital and the opportunities he's going to probably see even in his rookie year. I like Brian Thomas Jr. I don't think he got enough love out of LSU because, look, Malik Nabers is the guy, and I'm okay with that. Brian Thomas Jr. will come in as the wide receiver 2 behind Christian Kirk. Maybe wide receiver 3. We'll see how the offense plays out, but I think Gabe Davis ends up being the wide receiver 3 in this offense. You still have Evan Ingram to help clear out some of the middle. So realistically, he's going to have a lot of opportunities across the middle, deep plays down the field, which I think is going to be his biggest play. You got a great arm in Trevor Lawrence to get the ball down the field, something that, Calvin Ridley was successful at getting down the field, but he definitely had some drops and definitely hurt Trevor Lawrence's stock. But I think Brian Thomas Jr. is in a great landing spot. I think the 106 should be where he goes because of the opportunities and his talent. Now, 107, I've got Xavier Worthy for the Chiefs. I almost dropped him a little bit further down. Part of it is because I think some of the other players I'm going to mention have, I think, a little bit better opportunities. I know going into this, everyone's thinking, premier speed. This offense, they'll absolutely use them. They know how to put up these type of players in these type of schemes, and I get it. His speed is probably what draws a lot of the attention. There are definitely some parts of his game that he still has to work on. He still has to compete with Rashee Rice. I know he's got the legality issues. You still got Hollywood Brown you got to deal with. And then, of course, Travis Kelce. Like, that is the guy. So, realistically, are the targets going to be there? No. Do I think he's going to be fun to watch and play and get schemed in this offense? Absolutely. So I'm okay with taking him at this spot in my rookie draft because of the potential and where it could go. But if you're looking for the safe route, I think I might draft him a little bit later. Now, my 108, I've got Keon Coleman for the Buffalo Bills. Love this kid coming out of Florida State. He's not the fastest guy. He doesn't have the best route running. But what he does do really well is he's good at being physical, great hands. He can make plays in the red zone, which is huge. And going into a landing spot like the Buffalo Bills, realistically, could end up being the wide receiver 1. You got Curtis Samuel, you got Khalil Shakir, right? Like, those are some of his competition. You got, obviously, Dalton Kincaid to deal with, Dawson Knox, sure. And I know that the Buffalo Bills have changed their offense where they're starting to lean more on the running back position, which is okay. I'm okay with that. I think that helps open up the passing game, and it doesn't put all the pressure on Josh Allen, which allows him to make plays down the field because they're going to have to obviously take into account for the running game. So I like this play for Keon Coleman. I think he's in a great spot. I love it. I know he didn't obviously get the first round draft capital that everybody was hoping, but look, he was the 33rd pick. He's practically a first rounder. Now, my 109 is going to be Ladd McConkey for the Chargers. Again, opportunity and landing spot was big for him. Great route runner, great hands, very aware of his space, very aware of where defenders are. Very Keenan-like Allen type of play where he could obviously get open. He could go inside and out. And I think this is going to be a great play for him. He's going to transition, I think, really well for Justin Herbert. And we'll expect a really heavy run type of offense with the new regime in the LA Chargers, team. But I still think McConkey's going to get plenty of opportunities. I I know people have gotten McConkey probably a little bit higher in some of these spots. I don't think I'm going that high. I've seen already a few rookie drafts that I've already been a part of that McConkey's kind of fallen outside of the first. And again, everyone has their own opinions, but if you could get him in the late first, early second, I think it's a nice little steal for you. Now look, the 110 is my first running back off the board, Jonathon Brooks for the Panthers. I didn't love the landing spot. Had he gone to Dallas, man, Brooks would have been a lot higher in most rookie drafts, which I completely understand. This situation going to Carolina, I get it. Hubbard's got one more year, even though there was talks of him being the number one guy. You've got Miles Sanders, who they paid a lot, most likely going to end up trading or letting go after the season. So he's going into where he doesn't have to be the guy this season. He's coming off the ACL. He's expected to be ready for the regular season, which is great news. But I think if the team's going to play him smart, you got two running backs already, ease Jonathon Brooks in. I know fantasy owners don't want to hear that, but I think that's the expectation, is that Jonathon Brooks won't be put into the limelight. I think he's going to be eased into this season, get healthy, and then next year when everything changes, he can end up being the RB1 for the Carolina Panthers. So drafting him at the 110 is perfect. I think that's a steal. I think you could even put him at the 109 or 108, depending on where things are. Now, my 111, I've got Jayden Daniels, my other quarterback for the Commanders. A lot of it has to do with the fact that, again, I think quarterbacks are still very important, even in one quarterback leagues. His rushing ability is going to be the biggest factor of why I still think he can squeak into the late first round in a one quarterback draft, because rushing is always going to be the key when it comes to that. I don't have him in my top 15 as far as quarterbacks in Dynasty yet. Again, I'm going through all my rankings. I haven't finalized it. But I do expect him, again, have rushing ability. He's got McLaurin. He's got Dotson. He's got Eckler. He's got Brian Robinson. Like, he's got weapons around him, which is great news. So the only concern is really the offensive line. And because of his rushing ability, he's going to have to use those legs to make plays in and out of the pocket, which I think is going to really translate well in fantasy. Now, by 112, the last one is going to be Xavier Legette for the Panthers. There were a lot of other players that possibly could have gone with. I think this is a great move for Xavier Legette. I do love Deontay Johnson for the Panthers, who they got off in the offseason. I think they're really, truly building around Bryce Young. They saw what happened with C.J. Stroud. They saw what happened with Bryce Young struggling. I know a lot of people have given up on him, even though it's only been a year. Like, let the kid get adjusted. Xavier Legette, I think, is going to be a great complement to Deontay Johnson. You got Adam Thielen in the slot. I think this is a great move for him. Love where he got to stay in the Carolina area, which is awesome for him. Big body, great hands, can work a little bit better on the routes, but I think this is a great spot. He can, again, have a nice early start of his career with a nice young quarterback in Bryce Young, kind of start to build up that relationship. And again, having Jonathon Brooks, Hubbard, Miles Sanders, like, there's a lot of weapons they started to add for this team. So I like this spot. I think Legette is a nice little one. I have him at my 112. So that is my 1 through 112 spot for you guys. If you guys have questions for anything, trades, dynasty questions, anything else, hit me up in the comments down below. Again, if you are also Superflex, or maybe you have both types of leagues, check out my Superflex video as well to help you guys kind of understand where players should be going. If you guys have any other questions, hit me up in the comments. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. I'll be putting a lot more content. Of course, rankings coming out soon. Hit the like button, and I'll check you guys out next time.